everybody. We are back. It has been 2 weeks since we've gone live here on the Fumble, and I know I've missed you guys, and I'm sure I'm speaking for all of us here at the Fumble. We really miss going live and talking to you guys about the latest news. We're getting into all of it today, but before we do, make sure you subscribe, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment below, share it with your friends. Here's the Fumble Squad. We are reunited. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me everywhere at JRayTheFanatic.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's your girl, Britt Johnson. You guys can follow me on all social media at @IamBrittJohnson. Before we get started, I do want to say today is 6 years since Stuart Scott passed away. So RIP to him. We love him. We miss him all the time. He was one of the greatest to ever do it. And we are only, privileged enough to even be able to do a quarter or be as great as he was even a little bit. So I did want to make sure we said that before we got started today, because he obviously is a legend in the game. So RIP, we miss you every day.
It doesn't even seem like 6 years. It seems like it was just yesterday. It's so crazy.
I literally remember I was at that ESPY Awards where he won the award and gave that speech that we all remember forever. And it's like literally, I feel like that ESPYs was like 2 years ago. Like, it's so crazy. It's so
right.
Time is moving so quickly. And on that note, I can't believe that it's already 2021, you guys. I feel like 2020 went by so fast. Yeah, it's alarming. It is very scary, but I know I'm really optimistic that this year is going to be it has to be an improvement from 2020. Like, things I feel like need to kind of be on this upward trend. I know.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to maintain that same optimism that I always have, you guys. But how was your time off? I would love to hear what you both got up to. Britt, the last time we talked to you, you were heading out to the Grand Canyon. So how did that go?
It was great. The morning when we got out there, it was like 19 degrees. I actually wasn't cold at all, so I perfectly got everything situated, wore the right amount of layering and stuff. It was amazing. It was actually, pictures don't do it justice, so I tried to post a couple pictures, but I'm like, you guys just don't get the depth of this. It's so beautiful. It was also really scary because I'm afraid of heights, so every time we'd get to a part where you could look over, or you're trying to climb back up or down, I'd be freaking out, but it was great. We also went to Sedona. I hiked out there too, another 8-9 miles. So it was a lot of hiking over the weekend. Came back, Epsom salt baths for 3 days. And then I ate like a pig the whole rest of my time off and drank wine and had fun, but it's dry January, no more alcohol. Got my celery juice water, and we're detoxing in January, and I'm going to get skinny again.
I feel you, Britt. I am on that same wavelength right now. I weighed myself this morning, and I was like, okay, it caught up to me. I definitely need to get back on track now. So I'm definitely focusing on working out, eating healthy, and all of that. Jackie, so you went to Colorado for the time off. How was your break? I'd love to hear that.
It's always amazing being with family. My brother and I seem to forget that we are full-grown adults because we go back to teasing and fighting with each other just like we were kids again. And Mom's like, shut up, sit down. It's great. But I will tell you, I couldn't wait to tell you guys this story because you guys know I've been the one that's kind of chill, oh, the virus will pass. And I didn't think it was that big a deal when Rudy did the whole mic touch thing. But while I was there, so my mom's bank is right across from, I'm sure you guys heard the story about that In-N-Out in Denver where people were in line for 8 hours and they were fighting, and they could have literally driven to Utah and got In-N-Out and come back. That In-N-Out had a breakout. So 70 patrons who actually went to that In-N-Out caught the virus, and 10 employees caught the virus. So when I tell you, I was face mask, mask shield, hood, gloves. I didn't go anywhere. And they had the first, I don't know the exact scientific phrase for it, but I'm calling it the mutant strain that is way worse than the virus. That they had that while I was there. So we were to my brother's house, home, and that's it. I was so paranoid. Everything was pretty much open. We could have gone places, but I was nah, we gonna be in the house. So we were just in the house chilling.
To your point, my dad actually was in the hospital during the break with COVID, so it was super scary. He's out of the hospital now, but my dad's had several heart attacks, so it was really scary because He looks in shape and he looks young, but his heart is old. So I was really nervous for a little bit, but he's actually out of the hospital now. He still technically has it, but he's doing better. But COVID ain't no joke, y'all. It's no joke.
No joke.
Oh my gosh. It is really no joke, and things are getting so bad here. So I'm glad to hear, Britt, that your dad is doing okay now. Jackie, I'm glad you didn't go to the In-N-Out and get COVID, because that would really
like that anyway. But still, it's like there. It was so crazy.
In California, you're like, I don't need the hype. I don't need the hype.
There's no in line.
Well, my break was, I feel like, much more low-key than both of yours. I went to San Diego, where I stayed for a few days with my family. I was reunited with my dogs for the first time since March, and that was honestly, like, it made my entire year to see them. I love them so much, so I was really happy about that. I did a bunch of like reorganizing of my apartment. I switched around all my furniture. I was getting kind of antsy and a little bit bored. So I'm glad that we're back at work. And I would love to dive into this news, you guys. So let's talk about it. Also, for those of you in the chat, let us know what you think or what you did over the last 2 weeks. Did you make any New Year's resolutions? Let's have that conversation going. And now let's jump into the news. Let's talk about Steph Curry. So his legacy came into question while we were all on our respective vacations. So over the break, the Warriors experienced a pretty slow start to the season, and fans were very quick to place the blame squarely on Steph's shoulder. A lot of people were questioning his legacy, his greatness. They claimed that he would need to do extremely well this season, despite not being surrounded by his usual teammate or his usual roster, in order to solidify his reputation and his greatness, much in the way that Kobe was able to do and LeBron was able to do. Other athletes were even chiming in on the conversation. Dame said that he thinks part of the problem is the fact that Steph is playing with a younger team, and he's, quote, seeing that it's tough to get those quality looks right now. Channing Frye also acknowledged that Steph has almost always had the opportunity to be surrounded by a great supporting cast, and that, quote, has accentuated his growth, whereas someone like Dame hasn't necessarily had that same opportunity, which is true. But Steph heard all the noise. He was paying attention to all the negativity online, and then he went on to score a career-high 62 points in last night's win over the Trailblazers. So that makes me wonder, was all this criticism necessary? Do you think that it was warranted? So, Britt, I'd like to ask you, is it fair to criticize Steph so soon? When these conversations were happening, they had only played 5 games. So were people too quick, to pull the trigger on all of this hate towards Steph?
You're talking to a Clippers fan, sis. Like, we lost the game by 51 points, and everybody ringed us to the craziness, and acted like we were NBA champs last year, and we just should have had this perfect thing. A couple days later, Miami Heat loses by 50-something games. Crickets, and that was the Eastern Conference champions. So, I get why the critics are out. That's what they do. If you are somebody that they, feel should be at a certain level, obviously they're going to come for you. Just like people think my Clippers should be at a certain level. Since then, obviously the Clippers have been playing great. But they're going to come for you in those moments. So I don't think that he's beyond getting criticized, because my team has never won anything and we still get criticized. Like, we're just champions every year, and it's like terrible if we lose a game or something. So I get why he's criticized. Obviously, I said before, when we first found out that Klay Thompson was going to be out for the season, this is going to be Steph's moment to prove the critics wrong, because people have always said that he's had this supporting cast around him and he's been able to be successful because he can have those off nights because there's other people there to pick up the slack. Well, now we're seeing, Steph, you gotta be on every night. You just do, because guess what? Your supporting cast member, Draymond Green, is averaging 0.5 points this season so far. He only scored 1 point in that game. So he's going to have to step up. Obviously, Andrew Wiggins had a good game. He had like 21 points, I believe. Like, there's going to be other guys that can kind of step in a little bit, but they're not going to be what Klay Thompson was. So yes, Steph's going to have to step it up if he wants to see his team do something. it doesn't really matter if it's early on or not in the season. People are going to criticize. So I get why they're doing that, because it's not early on in his career. Like, this is not his first season in the league. And we're talking about a rookie here. We're talking about a guy that's a back-to-back NBA MVP and a 3-time champion. So, yeah, the criticism is warranted. I get why people would do that. And I think we will see by the end of the season if Steph can really take that criticism and make it last and be great. I'm sorry to say, but a lot of guys could have one big game where they score a lot of points. So I'm not saying that now Steph is just going to be great the rest of the season. I don't know that. He could go for the next 5 games and be terrible. Who knows? But I think once we get to the end of the season, we'll really be able to put Steph in the category that I think a lot of us know that he is in. Like, he is great, but like, he's always had these other pieces there to like, oh, well, Steph's only good because of this. He's only good because of that. And I think he has the opportunity now to shut everybody up. Like, I believe that he's great. I know a lot of people else do as well, but like, I think this is his time to shut everybody up. And I don't think one game shuts everybody up. That's one game. Like, I think we should wait to see what happens this season, but I think he can do it.
Yeah, and actually, to that point, speaking about this one game, I mean, it was a huge game for him, but yeah, it was just one game. So, Jackie, do you think that Steph's good game last night will be enough to get people to stop dragging him and throwing shade at him online, or do you think it's going to need to take more than that?
Well, I mean, first of all, I'm on the opposite side of Britt. I get what she's saying. Like, yeah, you know, criticism is just kind of what it is. The Clippers were down by 50 at halftime, though. That was a record, so that's why they got drugged for that. But Steph, I always hate when people come too hard on an athlete who's had the kind of injury that he had that caused him to be out for the amount of time that he has been out for. I get that people are going to drag people, whatever, but sometimes it takes time to get back into a groove. Steph, in my opinion, even though this is just one game, he proved a huge point that, okay, I'm all the way back. I think we can say, regardless of if he drops 50 points, 60 points this next game or whatever, he's all the way back, and he's kind of clinching this moment. And I think that that's important for him to do. We saw that he was all of a sudden started bulking up. We've never seen this hefty Steph before. Now we got, baby Thanos over here, and it's like crazy to me that he's taking his health this serious because he knows he does have this injury. So he's a trooper, though. He's going to take it on the chin. I will show you something in the post-up where the more we hate, the more motivated he's going to be. So technically, if you really want the Warriors to not be all that in a bag of chips, maybe say less, because I feel like everything we say, he's going to take it, and it's going to be fuel to his fire, and it's going to cause him to step up. But I don't think Steph is worried about the criticism. I think he hears it, but he does what we want every single athlete to do. Instead of hearing it and kind of internalizing it and it becomes a negative, he hears it, he internalizes it, and he uses it to, put up 62 points on you. So I don't think, I don't know if we'll see another 62-point game, but I bet we might see another 62-point game. It'd be crazy if we saw like an 81-point game like Kobe did. But I think we will see a couple more games that at this level for him.
Yeah. Britt, did you have something you wanted to add? I couldn't tell if you were about to say something or not.
Not really, but I guess I could add. I guess, like, to your point too, Jackie, like, this now is like, this is the no excuse season for him. Like, to the point of like him having these people before that were in the situation where like, oh, well, you have a supporting cast around you. You're not that great, blah, blah, blah. And then to your point of him saying, listen, my 62-point game proves that I'm all the way back. Okay, no excuses anymore. You're completely healthy. You don't have the supporting cast. Let's see who Steph Curry is. And I think we'll find that out this season.
All right, you guys. So let's talk about some football. Let's talk about Cam Newton. So Cam says that he is immediately leaving. Jackie, this reaction. He is immediately leaving Boston now that the season is over. He said he hasn't seen his kids in 3 months. He's a hands-on dad, so this time away has been difficult for him. But what's more is that there are reports going around that even ESPN is saying that he and the Patriots are expected to part ways after this season. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a messy parting of ways, both from a cap and relationship perspective. He was under that 1-year deal, and once free agency opens up in the spring, he's going to be able to pursue other opportunities, and then the Patriots will be able to find another starting quarterback. So I want to get the general reaction to this news. Jackie, do you feel like it's too soon for Cam and the Patriots to part ways after just one season? Do you think that he should give it a go if they decide to bring it back, or is he better off seeking another opportunity somewhere else?
There is no way in hell the Patriots are going to bring Cam Newton back. They would be foolish to do so. He has underperformed. That is a franchise that I had said off top. If you're going to go somewhere as Cam Newton, that was the last place in the NFL you should have gone, because this is a franchise that is used to winning. This is a franchise that has had the GOAT, Tom Brady, there for this amount of time. And you got in there, and not only did you underperform, you damn near cost him several games, so he's definitely been his worst enemy. I get it. He performed great yesterday, but that was against the Jets. He threw 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, almost 300 yards. Yeah, that's great. That looks great. But not only have you not positioned yourself to be an asset to that franchise where they can even consider bringing you back, you haven't positioned yourself to be a good look in free agency. So Cam definitely has shot himself in the foot. And I hate saying that, because y'all know as much as anybody, I love me some damn Cam Newton. And I also don't like, and I get it, I'm not anti-family. Y'all know I'm a very family-oriented person. I don't want to hear about your kids right now, though. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what I want to hear from you right now. I don't want to hear that as soon as the thing is over, I'm going to go see my kids because I'm a hands-on dad. We know you're a hands-on dad. We follow you on Instagram. We know how you feel about your kids. What we don't know is what you're going to do next to make sure you don't have this flop season if somebody picks you up. I want to hear about, hey, I didn't do the things that I wanted to do this season. I need to go and on this offseason really take advantage and work hard so I can prove myself either to the Patriots, which I don't think that's going to be a thing, or to another team. I need to hear what Cam Newton is going to do to be the Cam Newton, at least close to the Cam Newton that we thought he could be. Yes, you're a great dad. That's fantastic. Don't want to hear about it. So, yeah, I don't think he'll come back to the Patriots. I'm very disappointed and kind of heartbroken with this situation, because he didn't do anything remotely close to what I wanted him to do. Yeah, he closed out the season great, but it was a game against the Jets, and it's late. So go be a dad, but tell me what else you're going to do to be a quarterback so we can actually get you a job and you can actually be a vital part of that offensive system. And until then, I don't want to hear about your kids. Sorry. I don't want to sound insensitive, but I don't.
Jackie, right now you're totally being Tyra Banks saying, we were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. That is so you right now. I don't blame you. I don't blame you one bit. Britt, do you feel that do you feel confident that Cam is going to be picked up in free agency, or do you feel the same way that Jackie feels, that he didn't prove that he's a valuable asset when he was with the Patriots?
I mean, I'm not confident about anything when it comes to Cam Newton anymore. And to Jackie's point, him having those 3 touchdowns yesterday really, really helped his thing, because this season he's only had 8 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. So he had more interceptions than he had touchdowns this season, which is absolutely worse than Jameis Winston going 30 for 30. So it's bad, it's really bad. It's unfortunate. And I think because he's a black quarterback, no, I don't think he's going to be playing again in the league. We just saw Washington football team release Dwayne Haskins after 2 seasons, a season and a half really with the team. And he was a top pick. This guy was like a top pick and literally still in his sophomore season. And I've never seen a young quarterback get released that fast. Even Johnny Manziel got more chances than that, and Johnny Manziel was worse than Dwayne was. Johnny Manziel had more off-the-field issues than Dwayne did, but Dwayne had a couple off-the-field stuff, had his not so great season, and he's let go. So being a black quarterback in the league, you cannot mess up. You have to be great. You have to be like Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes and be awesome almost every single day, because you're going to have somebody on your back all the time that's saying black players still believe black players can't play quarterback, or you have to be this crazy exceptional one to even do half. Because there's tons of Andy Dalton has been in the league forever, and he's been terrible forever. He's never been good, and he's still in the league. Like, we've seen situations. My guy Ryan Tannehill had a pretty decent season, and then obviously it didn't pan out at the very end. But he actually finally started stepping up and earning his money. But every time he was with when he was with the Miami Dolphins. Terrible quarterback. Even last year before he got paid, terrible quarterback with the Titans. The only reason why the Titans did good was because they had Derrick Henry, who, congratulations, Derrick Henry. Now he's the 8th player to have over 2,000 rushing yards. So congrats to him on that. But yeah, like we see so many situations like this. It's unfortunate. I honestly don't think we'll probably see Cam even as a backup situation in the league, because it is really hard for black quarterbacks to even get that second chance. And Cam did get that. And I don't think he's going to get a third chance, unfortunately.
Gosh, that's really heartbreaking. But a lot of people in the chat are kind of saying a similar thing. Maybe it's time for him to hang it up. Maybe he's heading for retirement. He's just over it. So I don't know. It is disappointing. I agree with you both 100%. But
it's going to be like a forced retirement. He's not going to just say, he's going to enter free agency and he's never going to come out. It's going to be like, Colin Kaepernick.
He's never going to retire. Yeah.
Never going to actually officially retire. We'll probably see more videos on his Instagram, but the thing is, it's like, yeah, we saw your Instagram the last time. You look dope as hell. We was all like, okay, Cam, we see you. And then we didn't see you anymore for the regular season. So, yeah, he's not going to actually retire. He's just going to be in free agency limbo until one day he pops up on like ESPN as a commentator. That's probably how that's going to go.
I feel like it would be better for him to just retire and just be like, all right, hanging it up. Like, I just think that when there's that finality to it, it allows everybody to move on. But then there's this like nebulous time period where everyone's still kind of like hoping. There's still that, glimmer of potential. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like that ends up hurting someone like Cam more than helping him. So on that note, Jackie, take us into the post-up for the first time in 2 weeks. So excited to see what you have to say. So take it away.
2021 post-up.
2021 post-up. I feel like that's an accomplishment just to say we made it to 2021. It was hairy there for a while, but so yeah, let's talk about this though. We talked about Steph a little bit. I didn't see the Warriors 137-122 win over the Trailblazers yesterday, but I saw all the hype, and I'm definitely going to go back and rewatch it because I need to see this 62-point game in the making. But I can tell you, I like Steph, but I definitely don't like him enough to react like this Twitter user, because this is a lot. This is a full body, soul, mind, heart reaction. It's kind of odd. So take a look at this.
It's time, Steph. It's time, Steph. Give him the ball, Drake. Another one. And he got fouled at 62. That's 62, stupid.
You can be on my Instagram all day, every day. I promise you, even if it's LeBron, all that flopping around, maybe. Highly unlikely. But like I said earlier, Steph is not one of those guys to kind of internalize things and it becomes a negative for him. It's become a positive for him. He's even said so in his post-game interview. Take a look at what he said was the motivation behind this 62-point game.
Cue the Jordan meme, right? I take all that personally. It's just an opportunity to kind of assert my will on the game early and try to create some energy and, get off to the right foot. I think as crazy as it sounds after the game, all we really wanted to do was win the first quarter and take it from there.
So I like what he said, that he wanted to take this opportunity to assert his will, because that goes back to what Britt and I were saying at the top of the show. This is his time. Like, there's no excuse right now. You need to assert your will from this point on. I'm not mad at the slow start. I get it. A lot of teams are having a slow start right now, but I'm excited to see what Steph will do and who is going to stop him and how he's going to stop him, because I think that's going to become the narrative going forward. But let's move on to this next one because the Clippers also yesterday barely beat Phoenix Suns 112-107. Not mad at that. It was actually a good game, fun game to watch. A lot of that was due to Paul George because he scored 39 points. But even with those 39 points, it didn't stop him from talking a little bit of trash, which is funny to me because he's talking trash to Devin Booker. Paul George is 30. Devin is 24. I thought he could have handled this different, but take a look at this little exchange. And I know y'all can read lips, so I need y'all to focus and see the exchange between George and Devin Booker. So take a look at this.
There are not many players in league history that are better at getting under your skin. And I say this as a compliment than Chris Paul is. And this happens to involve Devin Booker.
Paul George is telling him to watch your mouth. Devin Booker called him a soft something or another that I'm not going to say. This, to me, I thought could have been handled differently because Paul George is Paul George. Like, I feel like Paul George is like here and, Devin's here. Not to say that they won't one day, but, it's just not, the legacy is not there yet for Devin. And I thought he could have handled it like Blake Griffin did and just laugh in his face, which I'm a huge fan of now. But I think this Twitter user kind of nailed it on the head with this reaction from Paul George. He said George lost by letting a younger player like Booker get to him like this. He should have either ignored him or laughed at him and kept it moving. So I agree with that. I thought this was a little excessive. It was funny, and I'm glad we could talk about it. But Britt, do you think that Paul George should have handled this differently, or are you okay with this reaction?
I think he handled it in the box score. So you said he had that those 39 points. Clippers won the game, so that's how you handle it. And I really don't. I think he could have just be quiet, don't say nothing. Like, handle it on the court, like you did. That's all you needed to say. You could have said less here because y'all won and you had a great game. So yeah, don't say anything. Don't listen to little peasants. That's how I feel. Like, if I was like a Paul George, I'm like, bro, like, did you had your first all-star? What's your name again?
Yeah. You want all them to even stay in the boat. Get away from me.
Yeah.
I would have just be gone. I totally would have done that. But it still made for great TV. I enjoyed watching it. It actually, like I said, it was a good game. So if y'all want to go back and watch that one too. But I did spend most of the day watching football, and I feel like Russell Westbrook wanted to do the same thing because he was not here for this post-game interview. First of all, I love all things Russell Westbrook. There's not much he can do that annoys me because I love his facial expressions. I love what he has to say. But he definitely wanted to get to watching some football, but a technical issue prevented him from doing that. But watch how he reacts to this in this next clip.
But he gets the win. He tastes the win on the court. Russ, congratulations. Thanks for joining us. If you can, just walk us through the defensive strategy that final possession.
He clearly can't hear them.
Not sure if he can hear us yet. We are joined by Russell Westbrook. Russ, can you hear us? No, he can't hear us. But I tell you what. Hey, there we go. We got you.
Oh, man. Come on, D.
He's so annoying.
Hey, can you walk us through that last play right there? Defensively?
This is funnier than Nick Saban.
Unfortunately, we're not able to connect with Russell Westbrook.
He's like, there's a football game on. I ain't got time for this. I love this so much because he just was so annoyed, and he has no poker. I want to play poker with this man because I feel like I'd win every time because he has no poker face. He's just showing all of his emotions. I love this so much. I can't even tell you how much
Jackie, I don't know if you watched the Alabama and Notre Dame game the other day, but Nick Saban was getting asked or doing an interview, and he's like, "What? I can't even hear you. I can't hear you." And he's just so mad. And then, I'm like, my guy, you just won. Like, it's okay. Like, you'd be in a better mood. He's like, "Man, I don't know." And then he's just like, and because the reporter was actually right there, but they still have to have the headpiece on because she has to be 6 feet away. So he was just like trying to hear her, but he was so annoyed. And I was like, Nick, calm down, my guy.
I love that one because I could not figure out why he was that mad. And I'm like, am I tripping? Didn't they just win? Why is he this angry?
He was so mad.
Oh, I love it. I love seeing y'all get annoyed like that. Please keep getting annoyed like that because it makes my whole day. All right, so let's move on to this next one because this next one, this is going to be like a mini What We Not Gon Do moment. So we all know Chase Young. We actually all kind of probably like Chase Young. He is the rookie from the Ohio State, and he plays for the Washington football team. So he's good. He's doing good as a rookie, I think. He has 7.5 sacks this season. He's tied for 26 in that number. Now, keep in mind, he's tied for 26. So when you think about that, TJ Watt, he has 15 sacks. He's only played 15 games, so that's a sack per game. So, and then let's not forget about, Aaron Darnold, who has, 13.5 sacks. So you have 7.5 sacks. That's great for you being a rookie, but you're on Washington, okay? TJ Watt is on the Steelers. They're 12-4. Aaron Donald is on the Rams. They're 10-6. So I get that you are excited that you are in the NFC least right now, and this 7-9 has clinched you a playoff spot. But I don't know if you want to say something like this. Take a look at this clip and see what he's saying about the playoff game to come. You want Tom? You want Tom for what? Like lunch or something? Like what are you talking about right now? You want Tom Brady? This is unmitigated gall, and y'all know I can't stand Tom Brady, but we do know Tom Brady's not the guy that you want to kind of piss off.
Hey, Jackie,
Britt?
last time that Tom Brady wanted to have this great, undefeated, amazing season, who was it that knocked him out of there?
Eli,
NFC East. It was the New York Giants, who were like
7-9. It was 7-9 that season. It was 7-9 that season.
And the division was terrible, and it was those Giants. It was Eli Manning actually at the time, and the Giants, what'd they do? They knocked Tom Brady off his little high horse in this crazy game. So, Chase Young, he went to Ohio State. My brother knows how to win. He won some games, and he that defense over there is just exceptional every year. They bring so many guys to the league. They're exceptional. Remember what Mike Tomlin said? He's like, I don't want to be terrible enough to have to get a guy like you because you got to be you're a top pick.
Right.
Down. You're He's had a great year. So I want to put it past the Washington football team to do some crazy stuff and end up winning this dang Super Bowl. I want to put it past
This is a conundrum for me because there's no franchise that I hate more than Washington. There's not a franchise that I hate more than Washington. And there's not a person that I dislike as much as Tom Brady. So who am I supposed to go for right now? This is a conundrum for me.
They've made so many changes this year. They were the first franchise to have a female in the call booth ever. They got a black president now. Like they move, making little bitty moves.
Yeah, but Dan Snyder is still the owner, and we know now that they have been covering up his sexual harassment cases for over a decade. So
$8 million worth of stuff.
Yeah.
$8 million to cover up.
Yeah. I don't know. I still don't like them. But that's just me. We'll see. I won't be mad if they knock Tom Brady off of his very high horse. So I'm not going to trip on that one at all. But let's go ahead and jump into this next one because, again, speaking of the NFC least, I need you guys. I hate to laugh, but I need you guys to help me make this make sense. We're not going to talk about it too much because I just want to hit it and quit it. But Eagles coach Doug Peterson, he decided to say, "Oh, I'm not trying to win. I'm gonna bench Jalen Hurts." And look at how Jalen Hurts reacts to this because he benched him for a third stringer. I don't know if y'all can see what he said, but he said, "That's not right. That's not right." Mm-hmm. I totally agree with that. Britt, what do you think about this?
Oh, sis, I think a lot about it, and I will be getting into it during Britt's take because I don't know if y'all watched that game last night because it is an NFC East game, and it was like a 6-9 team versus a 4-10-1 team. So I know a lot of people didn't want to watch it, but that game was crazy for so many reasons. But we'll get into that during Britt's take. That's all I'm gonna say. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Good. I can't wait to hear what you have to say because when I tell you that pissed me off to the highest level of pistivity, I was like, what are you doing? So, yes, I am glad to I can't wait to hear what you had to say. But what did make me happy, Who Dat Nation, if y'all in the chat, Who Dat? I am so excited because we basically kind of did our thing. We had already had our playoff spot. And so sometimes when you have your playoff spot, you kind of just got to get lackadaisical or whatever. But Emmanuel Sanders, going into yesterday's game, he needed 8 receptions to get his incentive. His incentive was for $500,000 if he got, I believe, 80 catches, but he needed eight more catches. Now, sometimes we see when guys get close to their getting their mark to get that extra cash, maybe they get benched or, they change up stuff, especially if they've done what we did and clinched the playoff spot. But that did not happen. I am so proud of Sean Payton and Drew Brees. They made sure to get him what he needed with 2 minutes and 11 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Check out how Emmanuel Sanders reacted to the fact that he was getting a $500,000 bonus. Love it.
Flip it and give the signal. There it is. There it is. Yeah. There it is. Money.
I I love the announcers' reaction to this as well because they were so excited for him. I was so excited. That game was a blowout. We won like 33-7, so it wasn't like a lot of fun to watch, but it was fun to see Emmanuel Sanders in this moment because I have wanted him to kind of continue to level up for our offense. So I'm probably just really elated right now because I am a Saints fan, but this was an amazing moment for me. Everyone on that field was excited for him, and $500,000 would get me excited too. So I don't know if anyone wants to give me some $500,000 incentives because I will meet it. I promise you.
Jackie, I was going to say we should get that. We should get We should get $500,000 bonuses for like if our video gets a certain number of likes or a certain number of views. Then we'll have these reactions too. That'd be good.
If they made it so if like we got $500,000 bonus for every video that hit 1 million, every single video on this platform, I would be going out. Girl, what? Really?
Well, not that much money, but we used to get bonuses when we'd hit 1 million.
Well, we need to go back to that. Look,
bring tradition back.
The rookies over here like, wait, we don't know nothing about that life.
Excuse me?
Still living off those bonuses from back in the day. No, I'm kidding.
Nice. I love that. All right, so look, putting that out there in the universe. We start in 2021 by putting that out in the universe. We ain't going to be mad if y'all want to do that for us. But this next one, guys, to me, I don't even know what to say because this is gross. Some of y'all actually do this in public, and I just want to encourage you right now not to do this. It's gross. It's flat out gross. Take a look. Oh, no, not this one. Oh, maybe, okay, we'll skip back to this one. Maybe I skipped ahead to this one. But this one that's the next one, but we'll go ahead to that one because, look, that one that Leo just put up there, you can put that one back up there because you guys can help me make this one make sense because this one is Carlos Davis and Isaiah Buggs. So they're both on defense. The Steelers had already clinched a playoff spot, so I'm not entirely sure why we pissed off on the sidelines anyway, but they were down 10-6. Big Ben didn't start. They weren't really taking that game against the Browns seriously. And 10-6, they're down. And this is what happens on the sideline. They get into a full-on little confrontation. Full pads and helmets, which is always funny to me when they do this. Like, what could y'all have possibly said to each other that you're going to start fighting each other on the side? You're on the same team. I don't understand what's happening. You're already in the playoffs. Go ahead, Britt.
They do this in practice a lot, but in a game, y'all, people can see y'all on TV. But I've seen so many fights in practices at NFL games. It's like not even funny, like with their own team. Usually, though, it is like an offensive and a defensive guy going against each other, not two guys that play the same side of the ball. But I don't know. I don't even know. On camera, during the game. Come on, y'all. Right. Come on.
And you just hit me in my helmet, so I'm not hitting you in your helmet. And so what? Now I got a hurt hand? Like, what am I? What's the thought process here? I don't get it. Right. I don't get it. That's disappointing, especially since you already clinched the playoff spot. You just embarrassed yourself. That's all you did. They're both second string though, so I don't know if maybe they're fighting for a job, maybe, but you still that's not how you fight. It's not a hand-to-hand combat. You fight on the field, guys, just so you know. All right, so let's get into this next one. Let me just read to see where we at. What's the next one? Okay, so this one is fun because I'm kind of disappointed that this one has not become a meme of some sort because this is the best face ever. So I just want you guys to see this reaction. Something happens on December 27th. Bradley Beal is pissed off at one of his teammates. And then look at Terrence's reaction. That full on, he's clenching his mouth so tight. His neck is like, why isn't that a meme? Why isn't that a meme?
That is so funny. Oh my God.
Bradley Beal saying that's so bad that has the Orlando Matt, like Terrence, like, ooh, like what could he be saying? Devin, I know you're the expert mouth reader. You can read lips, so can we run it back really quick, Leo, and see if she can figure out what Bradley Beal is saying? Because I know Devin can read. Wait.
Jackie, I feel like I'm gonna need. I know, I can't tell either. I don't know. I'll look at it after the show again and I'll really pay attention because I wasn't, when I watched this the first time, I wasn't trying to even figure out what he was saying because I just was focusing on the reaction. But I'll try and figure it out. I'll report tomorrow if I figured out what it was.
Okay. All right, good. So are we, Leo, just let me know real quick. Are we going back to that one, or should I just jump into what we not gonna do? Maybe I should just jump into what we not gonna do.
I love the one you were gonna. Okay, yeah, go into what we not gonna do. I was excited about the other one though.
But I didn't see it, so maybe we missed it. So all right, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into the first what we not gonna do of the season. This one's gonna be quick, guys, because we've talked about this at length. What the NFL has had a problem with. We all know that the NFL has had a problem with race, especially when it comes to, Britt talked about it already. You know, unfortunately, not only is Cam not going to get a job because he underperformed, he's probably also not going to get a job because of the stigma that still surrounds Black quarterbacks. It's still a thing, and it's unfortunate, but it also impacts Black people getting jobs as head coaches and executives within the NFL. This is a long thing. So today is technically Black Monday, which I hate that term, but it's Black Monday. And if you don't know what that means, today is the Monday after regular season, where teams start firing everybody. So everybody gets their pink slips today. They should call it Pink Monday since everybody getting their pink slips today. But a lot of different teams have already kind of started to kick people out. The Chargers fired their head coach, Anthony Lynn, this morning. I haven't heard anything as to who they're considering interviewing for him, but it makes sense. He had that 12-4 season in 2008, and then he was 5-11, and then this year 7-9. So I'm not sure who they're going to be interviewing, but that makes sense that he just got fired first thing this morning. The Jets, we all know that they had a mid-season firing, so the Jets have requested to interview with the Colts defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus, I always messed up that man's last name, so if I did that, my bad. But the Panthers have also requested to interview the coach, the Colts head assistant GM, Ed Dodds, for their GM position, and they are rumored to want to speak with former Giants general manager Jerry Reese to replace their fired GM, and he is Black. Jerry Reese is Black, so I'm excited about that. Doug is out for the Jaguars. Everybody thinks that the Jaguars are going to target former Ohio State and Florida head coach Urban Myers. I think that's a great pick. I think we all know who Urban Myers is, what Urban Myers is capable of. I personally love Urban Myers, so I think that is a great pick for them. If they can figure out a way to solidify that, I think that is fantastic. Bill O'Brien of the Texans, he was also fired mid-season. Romeo, who is Black, and he is the interim head coach. They have said emphatically that they are not considering him at all for the head coaching position, but they also do want to speak to the Colts defensive coordinator, Matt, for that position. Dan Quinn of the Falcons was fired, and the Falcons are reportedly considering Todd Bowles, who is a defensive coordinator for the Bucs. He is a Black man, which is exciting. The Lions are also in need of a new head coach, and they are set to interview Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy, who is also Black. So on the one hand, I'm like, yay, okay, there's these 3 Black men that are in the process of hopefully and potentially getting a higher position and filling some of these, because last count there was only 4 Black people that were in any kind of coaching positions in the NFL, which is not enough considering that the NFL is over 70% Black. It's definitely not enough. So I'm happy to see that they are starting the interview process with these Black men. I think it's great. But like I said, the NFL is over 70% Black. So in my head, statistically speaking, all 3 of these Black men should get a position, get the position that they're interviewing for, because statistically speaking, they need to have more representation of what the players on the field actually look like. So I know a lot of people are excited about this. A lot of people are like, yay, the NFL is doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're interviewing people of color. They're doing what they said. We can take them serious as to what they said in 2020, that they are trying to diversify. But I would like everyone to just take a minute, pump your brakes a little bit, because let's not forget, this is what the Rooney Rule was designed to do. The Rooney Rule was adopted in 2003 to do just this, to make sure that teams that had an open head coaching vacancy, that they would at least interview one or more diverse candidates, is what they call it. So it would be a minority person or a person of color. So what we're not going to do is pretend right now that this is actually a good thing, because this is a rule that's been in place since 2003. These interviewing processes have been a thing since 2003. It just hasn't solidified new hiring practices. And we know that they did that dumb idea of let's give you draft picks and all this stuff earlier, which I was not a fan of. What I am a fan of is realizing that you have these 3 black men who are definitely overqualified for these positions. These are not men that were like coaching high school football or something last week. These are men that are definitely qualified, who have not only earned their stripes, but they've done so with integrity in a league that they know operates in a way that is designed to keep them down, that is designed to prevent them from going forward. And I think that that is a hash mark in the column of something that you really want someone to have in your organization. You want them to have integrity, and you want them to know that even though the chips are stacked against them, they're still going to keep pushing, they're still going to keep driving, they're still going to keep doing what they're supposed to do. So like I said, these are not just everyday schmo black men. These are black men that are continuing to level up despite of their circumstances. So I know some of you guys probably like, oh, they shouldn't hire black people just because they're black. No, they should hire black people because these black people are extremely qualified, and you have to make it look like you aren't just selling wolf tickets from what you said in 2020. In 2020, the NFL acknowledged they had a problem with race. They acknowledged that they needed to do better. So if you want me to change my pessimistic ways towards the NFL, then you have to prove that in 2021. You can't just be out here selling wolf tickets. You have to do better. So I just want to say right now, I love these 3 men, Todd Bowles, Jerry Reese, and Eric Bieniemy. I would love to see all 3 of you get the positions that you are interviewing for. I'm going to send my good vibes, my thoughts, and my prayers with you. But again, I know after 100 years of the NFL being one way, this might not be the time that they actually change. People say change comes quickly. I think that the NFL needs to put the foot on the gas, because it's been 100 years of y'all acting like this. So now it's time to change. So that's what we not going to do. We're going to move on now, because I cannot wait to hear what Britt has to say about this, because I told y'all already, this already made me mad, what they did to Jalen Hurts. And let's get Devin up here on the screen, because now it is time. I'll wait for it. It's time for Britt's Takes.
Britt's Takes.
Oh, you guys can't even imagine how much I've missed that introduction. Like, I just wanted to wake up one day and just hear Britt's Takes. But it is time for Britt's Take. I am talking about my division, the NFC East. So you know I'm about to go in, because that's just what's going to happen. Okay, so obviously let's start at the beginning in case you guys don't know what was happening in the NFC East. Yesterday, early in the morning game, the Dallas Cowboys played the New York Giants. If you guys watched that game, you knew the refs were obviously Giants fans. I didn't really care, because I wasn't expecting to go to the playoffs this whole season. You guys know I said 2020 season does not count. I was hoping actually we lost more games so we could get a higher draft pick. But at the end, we decided to play well. I don't know why. And we had a pretty decent December and kind of caught back up. And we're actually in a position to possibly win the division. And it was either going to be us, it was going to be the Giants, or it was going to be the Washington football team, which technically happens a lot in the NFC East. It always comes to that final game, whoever's going to win the division. So first game, Cowboys-Giants game, Giants end up winning the game. And then we have Sunday Night Football, which is what we are going to be talking about right now. And that is the Washington football team playing the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles were not mentioned earlier because they are the only team in the division that did not have a chance to win. They weren't going to win, but if Washington football team won the game, they would be going to the playoffs to represent the NFC East. They would have home field advantage in a wild card game, which is crazy with a terrible record, but that's just the way the NFL works. But if the Eagles won, the Giants would be the team that would be going to the playoffs and playing in wild card, super wild card as it's called now, next weekend. Well, the game was actually really good. It looked like Eagles were about to come through and with the upset, because at going into halftime, it was 17-14. If you guys did not watch the game, there was a time where the Eagles were 4th and goal. They had an opportunity to kick a field goal to tie the game 17-17. They decided to run the ball on 4th down. Didn't get it. Didn't get it. But they decided to do that anyway when they could have tied the game. I don't understand why you do that early in a game when it's not like the game's on the line or you're not whatever. Like, I don't understand why they didn't do that. They didn't kick the field goal, which would have been an easy field goal. It was literally like same distance pretty much that you would kick for an extra point, and they would have been fine and tied the game. They didn't want to do that. And then they decided to remove Jalen Hurts from the game, which is the moment that you saw earlier that Jackie posted, and put in their backup quarterback, because we all remember that Jalen Hurts was the backup to Carson Wentz anyway. So their backup third string quarterback was put into the game, and people were like, what is happening? Jalen Hurts said it. Everybody was confused. Nobody was more confused, obviously, than the Giants, who were literally sitting there watching the game intensely, I'm sure, because the Eagles winning would be their opportunity to go to the playoffs. Well, tons of people, not just the Giants, everybody and their mama went crazy because the Eagles did everything they possibly could to lose the game yesterday. They ended up losing the game 20-14. They had opportunities where they could have scored. They could have, done all this stuff. Didn't take advantage of it. Just sat back and did nothing. Coach tried to say, no, I was just trying out a different quarterback, seeing a different strategy here. Like, I would never try to tank a game. We were definitely trying to win. You proved you weren't trying to win when you decided to kick or to run it on 4th and goal instead of kicking a field goal when you could have tied the game at that point. But that's a whole nother story. We have tons of tweets from people that came out about the game last night. Let's get some of those tweets up there because everybody was mad. Lil Wayne, Mr. Wheezy F Baby, decided to say, why? Eagles, why? He is an Eagles fan, or he's not an Eagles fan. He is a Giants fan, guys. Well, really, he's not, but he was a Giants fan yesterday because that's how it plays out for him and his team with the Saints in order to see who they would match up against, all this stuff. But Jalen still shined through all that rough. Jewels are rare and Jalen is unique. Solid as a rock. Shine on them, shine on. Obviously, Jalen was devastated. There was a whole, people didn't want, I was one of them that said earlier in the season, I don't want you guys to put Jalen Hurts in because I don't want y'all to be messing up his little career and have him doing all this stuff that he ain't ready to do yet. He was finally showing improvement, playing well, and then this is what you guys do to my boy. He had a chance to win a game yesterday, and you guys took that from him. Let's get the next tweet up there, Leo. Saquon Barkley, who of course is upset because he plays for the Giants. He said, can someone make it make sense to me what's going on? Next tweet we have is also from a Giants player who is not the starting. We know Daniel Jones is the starting quarterback now, but legendary throwback, two-time NFL MVP Eli Manning, Super Bowl MVP. This is why we don't like the Eagles. The NFC East is so petty, and I know the Eagles were being so petty here that they didn't want – if this would have been the Cowboys, even worse. But the order in which the Eagles do not like teams is Dallas Cowboys, Giants, and then the Washington football team. So, of course, the pettiness in them is going to want Washington to win over Giants and even the Cowboys. If it was the Cowboys, oh, my gosh, the conspiracy theorists that would have came out of this, me included – would have been out of this world. Eli Manning, I agree. This is why we do not like the Eagles. We got some more tweets, though, because people were not done. Darius said he's also on the Giants. This is going to be my last Giants player. You play the game to win, point blank, period. J.J. Watt said it best the other day. Outside of how it affects us, this is just disrespectful to the game, which I absolutely agree with. We got some more tweets here. Justin Tuck, former player for the Giants, came out and said this. Integrity of the game is something preached throughout locker rooms all across the nation. NFL, I would like to know your thoughts on the fourth quarter of the Philly and Washington football team game. This kind of, if you really want to think about it, this could be in a situation of him trying to throw a game. I remember I went to Fresno State, and before I went to Fresno State was involved in this huge scandal with players shaving points. The whole organization got in trouble. We weren't allowed to go to conference championship games or bowl games or anything like that for like a couple years because of it. This could be this situation. Like, it is so crazy what happened yesterday. It was clear, utter, like, purposely tanking the game. Like, the Eagles players were upset about it. Obviously, Giants players were upset about it. There were other players throughout the league that were upset about it. Like, it was absolutely crazy. I could go on and on. There were so many tweets yesterday that we heard about when people came out and said stuff about this. This is sick. It's like crazy to even imagine that a coach trying to test out another quarterback. The last game of the season, that doesn't even make sense. This is what preseason's for. You don't do it at the end of the season when now you're not going to see him for another 6 months. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, why would you do that? Like, it's silly. It's stupid. They purposely threw that game. And who knows? Maybe he did have some betting on the line. Maybe it was because for you to not even go for it on the 4th down, what did you have to cover some spread, my guy, Doug? Cheater? I cannot stand the Eagles, and I especially can't stand the situation. Jackie, I'm going to get you on here because we both, I believe, if I remember, like Jalen Hurts, and we both wanted to see him succeed. We both thought it was kind of crazy that he was starting earlier than what he should have been at that time. Let him just, fall behind and figure stuff out and stuff like that. But him playing well yesterday and him being taken out in that situation, do you think the coach was just trying out another quarterback or trying to keep Jalen healthy and not get hurt? Or do you think he was purposely trying to tank the game?
I think it's obvious he was purposely trying to tank. It doesn't make a lick of sense to take Jalen out at that point. You know what I mean? For him to say, "Oh no, everything I do is to try to win." Actually, we have documented proof in this entire game that is not a factual statement. So, don't do that. But on top of that, I think that Carson Wentz is probably not going to be with the Eagles next season. So Jalen's going to be your guy, and I think that you actually now killed his confidence in you because he was out there. He wanted to go out and play. He was doing his thing. And you benched him for no logical reason for a guy who immediately went out and got turnovers, just like immediately. So, and you tanked their chance to win. And I love that you brought up J.J. Watt because I agree with what he said. I don't care how petty you are. I do not like Eagles fans. Eagles fans are weird to me. They're rude. And I still ain't forgot about the time they cheered when Michael Irvin was hurt. I still ain't forgot about that, so I still hold grudges. But it's still they're still fans, and they're still out there. And Eagles fans they're gonna root for their team. Their team could be 0-16. They're gonna show up on that 16th game, and they're still gonna root for them like it was game 1. And you can't cancel the validity of them being the fan of the team right now because you're just like, oh, we don't give a damn about our fans. We just gonna go out here and lose. Oh, I don't care about Jalen and the fact that this is going to be the future quarterback of this franchise. Go ahead and sit down because for no apparent reason, I could almost see if it was a blowout, like if they were losing 30-0, then okay, Jalen, what? Have a seat. Go ahead and let this kid, get some reps in. But that's not what happened. You had an opportunity to win. You blew it for exactly what you said. And it was because they were being petty. And I think there should be a petty fine of some sort in place. This is ridiculous.
Right? This has to be like, this is like the craziest situation. And like you said, with the fans and with losing the confidence in the coach and stuff like that, this affects the culture of the team moving forward. And he specifically, Doug said this after the game. He's like, it's not going to affect the culture of us moving forward. He said, about Carson Wentz was dissatisfied with the team and didn't have confidence in him. And he's like, I don't know where that comes from because we have a professional relationship and all this stuff. We just saw last night where this come from. Was it Carson Wentz or was it you that caused Carson Wentz's career to go tank itself because you probably were doing little schemes or doing little weird petty stuff this whole season that we didn't even know about? Like, it's just oh my gosh. It's Black Monday, so bye, Doug. You should be fired as well. That was crazy.
Yeah, I think there has to be some kind of consequence for this because there's no way anyone with 2 eyes. You don't even have to hear you could just hear the game and you could hear this ain't right. So there's no way that there shouldn't be some sort of, in my opinion, there should be some consequences for this, because if for nothing else, just for tanking the confidence of this young man who, like I said, is going to be coming up next. And you got him sitting on the sideline where we all can see that he's saying it's not right. He's not talking about anything else but you, Doug. He's talking about you.
Right.
What you did wasn't right. I think he should be fired, or at least penalized in some way.
And like other players were saying in the thing, it's the integrity of the game. Like, you're messing with the integrity of the league, which is why Justin Tuck was like, NFL, what you think about that? Because y'all want to get on us about our integrity and us playing through the end and this, that, and the third. But then what happens when a coach doesn't do the same? Like, that's crazy.
Yep, exactly.
He's getting paid to coach. He should be coaching till the end of that 60 minutes is up, period.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it makes no sense. Devin, what are you doing?
Sorry, guys. I was having some audio issues. You guys, I lost audio for a bit, and then when I tried to put my phone back in my stand, it just kept on logging me out. So I'm just holding it for now because we were so close to wrapping up. So it's been a rough Britt's takes for me. Luckily, you didn't ask me any questions, Britt, because I wouldn't have been able to answer. I couldn't hear anything. But I can hear you guys now. Sorry.
Okay.
Right.
I know exactly what's going on. I can't hear anything.
I can't even hear you.
All right, you guys. Well, we had a successful first show back. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. We really appreciate you guys chiming in and participating in the conversation. We hope you all had a great New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Christmas, all the holidays, whatever you guys did. We're going to be back again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So subscribe, tap the bell for notifications. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment below. It really helps us out. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
I miss you so much.
I know. Bye,